Hello, everybody. Welcome to Just for Women Africa, and my name is Olaleko Amusat, the founder of Just for Women Africa. And today, we're on a Zoom interview all the way from Maryland, United States. We have with us Yvette Paco, who's the serial entrepreneur, a lawyer, a law professor, and the founder and CEO of Shop Shoreway. She was talking to us about Shop Shoreway, why it started, and how it's going so far. So stick around, and we'll be right back. Okay, we're back. Welcome back, everybody. We have lost Yvette Paco. Yvette, welcome to Just Women Africa.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Pleasure is ours. Pleasure is ours. All right, Yvette. Could you just tell us briefly about Shop Shoreway and why you decided to start a business of your own? I mean, everybody would think that being a lawyer, you would love to be in the law courts, but why decide to go into entrepreneurship?
Sure. I like to tell people that entrepreneurship found me. I was more so on the side of being a worker bee rather than someone who would chase my creative ideas. I could come up with creative ideas, but I wanted to more so be on the operation side so that someone else could do the CEO part. But Shoreway was one of the businesses that I started out of necessity, I think. During the sort of COVID pandemic lockdown, I had the opportunity to visit home, which is Ghana. And I stayed there for 6 months longer than I intended to stay there. I came for the holiday, ended up just staying through the lockdown phase or period for reasons that I think you and I, while I was there, of course, I sort of ran out of the things that I brought. I only packed for a month. And so it took quite a bit of coordination to speak to my mother who lives in the States to, get me some provisions, some, of my favorite toothpaste, some of my favorite lotions, and those kinds of things, my favorite snacks. And so by the time that she purchased the items, packed a barrel full of those items with my clothes and other things, and the barrel got to Ghana, I was almost on my way out. So that particular process took, 2 extra months that it didn't need to take. And I thought we can make this simpler, right? For people who travel often to Ghana, who want to be in Ghana for a much longer time, and for people who are in Ghana as well, who like these items. And so that's how Shoreway was born. And so it wasn't necessarily because I was chasing some sort of business idea. I just sort of did that out of convenience. And I figured if I have this problem, other people have the same problem.
I can identify with you on that. I mean, people living outside the country want their favorite items and they find it difficult to get it in Ghana. It is a really good idea. Okay, so you started in 2020 during the time of the pandemic. What were some of the challenges in starting up a business like that? And starting up during the time of the pandemic, did you have doubts? I mean, with all what was going around globally, people were not sure whether they will have jobs, people were not sure whether they'd be alive. What were some of the challenges and thoughts that went through your mind?
Sure. So um, I didn't have any doubts. I sort of just started the business. I, of course, sort of thought through some of the numbers, but like I said, I'm not really, a natural born entrepreneur. So what I am, though, is a problem solver, which is why I'm a lawyer. And so as a lawyer, I solve problems. That's what I do. I solve complex issues by analyzing them and coming up with creative solutions. And in this situation, I saw a problem that was affecting me, and I assumed that it was affecting other people, and I sought to come up with a solution. What I didn't anticipate was what impact the pandemic was going to have on supply chain. And so the issues with supply chain became monstrous for me and my business. The items that I was trying to stock were no longer available. Either they were on a container, across the ocean or something like that. And so the availability of the products became much of a problem. And then of course, it's a shipment sort of logistics based business. And so getting the products from where they need to be
gotten from and to the destinations that I needed. If we're having supply chain issues, then you can imagine that, of course, that my products are going to be affected as a result. So that was a major issue for my business when I started it. But right now, everything is sort of getting back to normal, and I'm not dealing with those issues anymore.
That's great. Okay, so could you walk us through the process of placing orders on the website, Shop Shoreway? How does it work? So I go to the website. So I go to the website. I want to order, let's say, a Heineken or a Jack Daniels. What's the process?
Okay, it's a pretty simple concept in terms of any other e-commerce website that you would enter. You would go to www.shopshoreway.com. You would pick your favorite items or the items that you're interested in and place them in your cart. Depending on where you are, the currency will convert. So if you're in the United States, it'll show you the prices in USD. If you're in Ghana, it'll show you the prices in the cedi. Those are our main target audiences, but if you are in other places of the world, the UK, Russia, etc., it'll show you in that currency. You place the items in your cart and then you check out. We have several different payment options depending on your preference. You can use a credit or a debit card. You can use PayPal. You can use mobile money. And if you are local, you can select cash on delivery. And so we really try to be as inclusive as we can. And we also try to make the process very easy. Once you check out, you get an order confirmation, and then our team will reach out to you to determine a delivery date. We try to deliver around your convenience, and we also try to cluster all of our deliveries in the same areas.
Okay, that sounds interesting. Okay, so I have a few questions. So when I order online and it goes to my cart, is there a delivery fee? And how long does it take for the item to get to me? And what is the number of minimum quantity of items I'm allowed to order? Am I just allowed to order one item and to got into me, or I need to order 5 items and it got into me?
Sure. So there are no minimum quantities. You can order 1 or 100. There's a delivery fee. Currently, we're only delivering within Accra and in Tema. So there's a delivery fee for Accra deliveries and a different delivery fee for Tema. Currently, for instance, if you are local, more than likely you would get your items within less than 3 days. The advertised amount of days is between 3 to 5 business days is when you would get your items. But we've gotten so much more efficient with our deliveries that most people report getting their deliveries in 1 or 2 days.
Okay, all right. With the items, if somebody orders and, for instance, the product is not exactly what the client requested for, is the client allowed to return the product back? Are there things like that in place?
Sure. So our current return policy is that we have a no return policy unless the item is defective or damaged. Of course, the items that we are selling, we are guaranteeing are exactly what it is that we are putting on our websites. But if you are dissatisfied with it, if the item that you received is not, or it deviates from what it is that you thought you were buying or what it is that was advertised to you, we are definitely open to exchanges more so than returns of items.
Okay. I'm sure people will be curious why it takes 3 to 5 days for delivery. Are your items stocked in warehouses in Ghana, or they're shipped in from the United States or from the UK or Canada?
All of the items are shipped straight from the United States. And so it takes a little bit of time to get those items to Ghana through the port and to you. But it's 3 to 5 days as compared to 2 months over, the water in someone else's container. And I think that 3 to 5 days is really, really incredible in terms of getting these authentic US products straight to your door.
Okay. All right, Yeti. So tell me, why should somebody order from Shop Shoreway and not your competitor?
Sure. So one, I have a team that is on the ground and a team that is here in the US that manages the authentic product, the quality control of the product. And so there is a guarantee that you know that you are getting something that is straight from the source, as opposed to something that would be inauthentic. Before I sort of started the planning for the business, I did a survey. I sort of talked to different customers, and the chief complaint was that people would have a difficulty trusting where the items are from. They don't know who is buying the items, whether the items are truly from the US or not. We guarantee that all of our items are straight from the US, authentic and authenticated. And that really sets us apart from our competitors. The other thing too is the ease of finding our items. We're not claiming that these items that we're selling are not available in Ghana at all. But one thing that we definitely prioritize is the fact that you have convenience at your fingertips. Instead of sitting in traffic and going to the mall and trying to walk through and buy items that you don't, you sort of can't guarantee where they're from, you can just order it. You know exactly what you're ordering, you know exactly what you're paying, and you know that it'll be delivered to your doorstep. And that's really what we are pushing here, is that innovation of the normal sort of grocery shopping or buying from the roadside. Here, we know that it's a controlled warehouse. We know that the person will bring it straight to you, and you have no worries about that.
Okay, that's fantastic. That's really great to hear. Okay, so we're about to run out the interview. This is just for Women Africa, and we'd like to ask opinions of what people think. So, having been in business since 2020, what's it like doing business as a woman? Do people take you seriously? Do people take you seriously when you step out, or when you go out to meetings, to the bank? What's it like actually being a woman doing business?
Sure, that's an incredible question. And I think it really depends on where I am. When I'm in the US, I tend to see that it's a little bit more equal. And partially, I sort of give credit to how I carry myself. Most people, describe me as assertive. Some people say aggressive, but we all know that those are gendered and coded languages. In the US, I don't really see a difference between being a woman business owner. But when I'm in Ghana, I do see that there is a different shift towards me. Most people assume that I'm not the boss of the company. Most people assume that I'm probably, an administrator or some sort of secretary or errand person when I pull up to meetings or to the bank. And so it's really interesting seeing those, but those things don't really stop me. They're just things that make me smile and chuckle before I sort of flex my prowess in those spaces. But there is a difference. I do see a clear difference depending on where I am. Currently, I'm bicontinental, so I split my time between Ghana and the US, and specifically Maryland. But when I'm in Ghana, I see that there are clear differences, even down to parking. Like if I go to the bank, I realize that the parking attendant at the bank or the security guard will spend so much time trying to tell me how to park, as opposed to, my male counterparts who are coming in at the same time. Or if I go with a driver, it's a different experience as well.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Two more questions that will bring the interview to a close, because I have next interview. So women out there who would love to be in your shoes, running their own business, being their own boss, but they feel that's a man's world and all, what's your advice to them?
My initial sort of gut feeling is, so what? It's a man's world, but we live in it, I guess. And so for me, I don't sort of make decisions based on my gender. I make decisions based on my outcome. And for Shoreway, I set to solve a problem. And the first thing that came to mind was, how do I solve that problem? I think it's important to recognize the issues that we deal with as women business owners, but I don't think that it should define the way that we sort of move around in the world with it.
No, well said. All right, so to our viewers around the world who love the interview, who love your concept, who want to order and have that goods delivered to Ghana. Could you give out your contact details and how they could, reach you and how they could place their orders?
Absolutely. So the best place to reach Shoreway is through our website, www.shopshoreway.com. That is SUREWAY.com. We have the similar moniker for our Instagram, which is at Shop Shoreway. And then from that Instagram page, you have access to our WhatsApp, you have access to our DMs, you have access to our local and our American line for you to reach out with questions, feedback, concerns, and orders. Most importantly, orders. So that's the best way that you can reach out to us. Our email address is also available, hello@shopshoreway.com. And that would be a great place for you to reach out to me directly.
All right. Thanks a lot, Yeti. Thanks a lot for being with us. We enjoyed the interview. We wish you all the best. We look forward to interviewing again in the future.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I really appreciate your time.
You're welcome. And to our viewers, do not forget to like, subscribe, tell a friend who knows a friend about Just Women Africa. And to the next show from Yeti and I to be. Bye.